How can private investors, both local and international, regain trust in Cameroon's business environment? PMExchange, the annual business event organized by the employers' union E.CAM, gave us some answers. We now have an environment where money is not the issue. The issue today is trust. You can have the best of records. If the person in front of you, the banker, the investor, does not trust you, then it will not work. Investment requires predictability, it requires security. And this predictability and security can only be built through listening, dialogue, and ultimately trust. And so, in our country, this represents a stake, a fundamental challenge to accelerate the economic transformation of Cameroon. We who are actors of the diaspora hope that trust will become a way of dialogue with our countries of origin, dialogue with partners, dialogue obviously with investors, so that different ways of accompanying the development of our countries of origin are done through the contribution of the diaspora. When there is distrust, people are in doubt, in hesitation, and we fall into atony. That is to say, a paralysis of action. And that is why we need to boost everything based on trust. And this trust implies, both internally and externally, a series of mobilizations. And I believe that it is precisely in this respect Cameroon Trust 2030, which was born recently, is an important partner that our country needs to try to fulfill its dream. Both nationally and globally, our small and medium companies have a lot of trouble mobilizing financing. And trust is, from our point of view, a constructed reality and one that must be built in an objective manner. We focused on skills a lot. We haven't put much emphasis on attitude. And the lack of emphasis on attitude, on personal development, has meant that trust has been relegated as an established fact. As we identify it, we see that it's too big a problem. It's so big that we can't address it. On the other hand, it is a problem that comes up at all levels, at all scales. To be able to speak about the question of investors, trust in young entrepreneurs, and in particular, women entrepreneurs, we must first be able to speak about entrepreneurs' self-confidence. That is to say, do they trust themselves enough to be able to become talented entrepreneurs? Do they trust enough the entrepreneurial activity itself when we know that today, many of them will rather be orientated by employment in companies or in public service? For a long time, trust remained an abstract concept which people used with much confusion and uncertainty, and nobody could actually imagine that trust could be measured. And this is where the support of Trust Insight, which is our first partner in Cameroon Trust 2030, is fundamental. Because Trust Insight has developed tools such as the Trust Barometer, which today allows us to measure and see through the colors of the tree of trust the degree of trust in a group, a company, a business, and on a large scale, even in a state like ours. And from these elements, our companies, especially the small and medium ones, are able to know which levers to use to restore trust at the internal level with the entrepreneur and his employees, and at the external level with the entrepreneur and various shareholders. And in our context, it is, above all, the relationship with bankers that needs to be consolidated today. In addition to investors, who both have the same expectations vis-à-vis the company: financial performance, strategic performance, and operational performance.
Et donc
And
l'arbre de
so,
confiance
the
permet
tree of trust
à
allow our
nos
companies
entreprises de
to
pouvoir
know
savoir
precisely
précisément
which are the
quels sont les
areas of
points
improvement
d'amélioration
on
sur
which
lesquels
they
on
have
doit
to
travailler.
focus.
Aujourd'hui,
And today,
la confiance doit
trust is
revenir
coming back
pas
to
front
us,
office,
not as the
comme le
central
problème
problem to
central
be
qu'on doit
discussed,
débattre.
but in fact, it is the
Aujourd'hui, hier, en
underlying
fait,
problem.
c'est le
So the
problème sous-entendu.
paradigm has to be
Alors, le
changed.
paradigme doit d'abord être changé.
Yesterday, we implied this
Hier, on
problem.
sous-entendait ce problème.
Today, we
Aujourd'hui, on affronte
face
ce
this
problème.
problem. With the whole team of Cameroon Trust 2030, we will be able here in Cameroon to dissect and detect these different components, these strengths, and then especially the means to create a space of trust in Cameroon. The president of Trust Insight, Pierre Viniki, who is at the origin of the Tree of Trust, shares with Protest Ayangma, the president of E.CAM, and with the other members of Cameroon Trust 2030, the method and the tools that will help to gradually find the path of trust in Cameroon.